imagining that there could very well be a point where your more standard flagships are going to be starting at $1,500, where a OnePlus can start at $1,000. Yeah. Hello, my name is Fiona Gomo, aka Techie Supreme, your supreme source on all things tech. And today we are unboxing. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. This thing is freaking heavy. Like, I could use this like a freebie. That's the workout for today. Yeah, so I got this little ditty this very big ditty from OnePlus a couple weeks ago, right after the launch, and it's been, completely ignored for several weeks, but I am finally getting around to unboxing this guy, and I'm very excited. Okay, so we are just going to start diving in. What's going on here? Here we go. Ooh. Oh, what? Wow. Okay. Okay. All right, cool. Fancy. I knew that we had the elongated box, but I actually didn't know about the suicide doors for the box. I didn't know that was a thing. Take a break from tech. Fast and smooth performance. Okay, fancy. All right, let's see. This is just some press paraphernalia that came in the box, and we're gonna toss that aside. So we have here some more swag, but this over here is the actual device. Ooh, hey, we got some earbuds in there as well. So this is the OnePlus 7T. I believe we have a blue model. Don't quote me on that, but we'll see when we open it. Okay, we're just gonna dive right in here. Hey, what does it say? Warning. Reproductive harm? Excuse me? Alright. Oh, yeah, there it is. Glacier Blue. So we've got, the model is 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of internal storage. And the device itself. Oh my, very nice. I obviously did not go to the launch in India. Do we have? It's so funny now, like after the Galaxy Fold, you never know if the protective cover is actually a protective cover, so you're kind of apprehensive. But it isn't. But we're just gonna leave that on for now. But it is an actual protective cover that you can remove. Let's see about that. Yes. Yeah. I mean, in person, like that. That is kind of for me. For me, colors are just really a very fun part of tech now. I've always been into the different color schemes. I remember back in the day when Samsung used to, especially in the US, that was like the thing where it was always like, we always got black and white. And then there were always like other color options that were not released, or if they were released, they were released like months later, and they were only exclusives on like Verizon and AT&T. And now we have, you know, even the big guys, even the really big guys, they have their color options. And then we have, really cool options like this, which we're not going to talk about the fact that this is the blue from the Galaxy Note 7. We're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that. Yeah, so, I mean, we know the specs on this. We've got the triple camera in the back. We've got a teardrop. We've got a teardrop notch for the front camera. I already mentioned the RAM and the internal storage. I'm not remembering all of the specs off the top of my head, but obviously we can recap those a little bit later. We're going to go ahead and turn on and maybe try to attempt a little bit of a setup. But we will just, in the interim, chat about kind of what we were talking about last time, which was pretty much the pricing of the OnePlus 7T. So last time I was talking about the rumors. That said that kind of just suggested that we would have a pricier device, but before the launch, Pete Lau came out and said that we were going to have a more cost-effective product. And then when the launch came, we got a confirmed price of $599, which is obviously very, decently budget friendly for something that is considered a flagship product. And we're still in the affordable flagship scheme. We saw the OnePlus 7T get a $50 price bump from the OnePlus 6T, and to become $599. But I definitely feel like there is still a decent amount of space for the Pro model to be even more expensive. It's kind of weird to think about because we saw pretty much $100 jump from the 6 to the 7, and now we have this $50 jump from the 6T to the 7T. And in the past, we were used to about $30, and that's what I was talking about before, where it was a very comfortable incremental increase from generation to generation, even from the standard to the T model was easy to stomach, even though it was about your 6-month upgrade. However, what do you guys think? Vivid, neutral, or advanced? Ooh, that's colorful. I guess we should do advanced. I'm trying some, but actually, I'm more of a Vivid fan myself. Let's do Vivid. And Hopoto. OnePlus Slate. If anybody has a OnePlus device, leave in the comments your display and font schematics. Let's do the OnePlus. And we're gonna do navigation. Sure. Ooh, we've got some nice graphics. Now, the interesting thing about the new price schemes of devices in general is that we are seeing now mid-range products and things that are considered budget devices that are starting at $700, $750. Like I said, even products like the Galaxy S10e starts at $750. We have newer budget iPhones that have similar prices, and you don't really get the lower prices until you've got like the 1 or 2 year old devices that get price drops because there's a new product out, and then you get a little bit cheaper. Like now you can buy iPhone 8 for like $2 or whatever. So, and again, it's not really a critique of OnePlus. It really is just an observation. And obviously, I feel like that's just kind of like something that was always looming about OnePlus, that eventually, not even that they're going to catch up to the big guys, but eventually it's not going to be like, oh, you've got, again, you get all of these flagship specs for, $300 or something like that. You're going to get up to a point where it's like, oh, wait a minute, I may need a payment plan to buy this device, and this is the cheap option. If I want a Snapdragon 855 plus in my phone, and not have to like take out a loan, like ask like a family member for some cash or something before I go buy the OnePlus 7T. But again, like I said, I do think that is kind of where I'm coming from, is that there definitely is just now an idea that consumers may have to take pause before they decide. And I guess what probably would or could be a critique is, a consumer could go into, say, a T-Mobile and say, obviously not so much for the OnePlus 7, where, to be quite frank, $600 is still quite a chunk of change for a smartphone, at that, like in any space. It's funny, I was just writing about the Motorola foldable, and everyone was talking about, old Motorola clamshell phones that came out at $500, and people were complaining about that in 2004, and now, and again, this device, which is significantly more advanced. I mean, again, I guess, that still is a sentiment to OnePlus, where, again, like, over 10 years later, you've got a product that is significantly more advanced than a Motorola clamshell that's only about $100 more expensive. And I guess that is that is just the idea of of choice. But again, it's just like, how many choices do we need, really? It's like we already have. We have our early year flagship. We have our low year, our end of the year flagship. Now we've got standard and pro, and then there's like 8 other 5G models are coming out. Now, there really is just this, sense of OnePlus being on their toes, not even having consumers on their toes, but there's just kind of like a mystery and allure that is coming about. Now, how about we do, now I've got some smudgies on here, but we can do, I'm kind of finished unboxing now, so we can just talk. It really is just kind of like, at the very least, it's going to be interesting to see what the next moves are. But, again, there is just that question of exactly how long can OnePlus stay fan focused? Because, I just kind of feel like there's only so long that you can get away with, oh, we're going to boost the price and then drop it again, or not have it be as expensive. There's only a few times that trick can really fly. And I'm imagining that there could very well be a point where your more standard flagships are going to be starting at $1,500, where a OnePlus can start at $1,000. I think it is something, and like that's kind of what I was talking about the last time. It's just kind of like, we've always kind of just been so enamored by the low price of OnePlus that in comparison to their competitors, that there hasn't ever been any major critique of the prices themselves. And to be quite frank, this is, 2019 was kind of the year for those things to just start being considered. And I would imagine as time goes on, there probably will be a little bit more of a consideration about what is this company doing in terms of in terms of their pricing, and is this affordable flagship promise something that can be maintained for the very long term. Well, the time has gone by so quickly. I mean, in terms of my own coverage, I definitely kind of started around the OnePlus 3, 3T era. So that's kind of where I really started taking into consideration of like, hey, like, again, this is kind of, that option of like, hey, I want to get a sturdy device for my kid or whatever. I want to, hey, I'm a broke college student, and I'd like to get a Galaxy or iPhone, but I've got to pay for books, or I've got to buy 18 smartphones in the next 3 months. And I don't have $1,000 to blow on each of them. um, so yeah, there. Like I said, I definitely think there is just that idea of it kind of feels a little smoke and mirrory what's going on. It's very easy to say, oh, well, we're cheap in comparison to the super flagships, but like I said, $700 is not cheap. And to be quite frank, I personally don't think that the market has changed that much in the last, and I think that's kind of where I'm going, going with this, and kind of really harping on this is like the industry has not changed that much in the last even 3 years to go from devices in the $500 range, or even $300 to $400 range, to all the way to potentially approaching seven. And we even already have OnePlus 8 rumors coming out. So that's 2020. And again, just in terms of devices in general, I feel like everybody is going to show out next year. So I can only imagine the I have to kind of say it like that, kind of like the excuses, and like what are going to be the marketing standpoints to increase prices of like, oh, the new millennium, all the I mean, I'm making an old joke, but all the computers are gonna shut down at the same time. outside of outside of that, like honestly, like I said, we're going to dive into the OnePlus 7T, and we're gonna come back with our review, and more in depth, maybe some how tos or and things like that. But like I said, I really did just want to kind of get that to get that thought, and again, kind of to even now to see the progression. I do think it's very interesting. Even we can even look at the standard. Now we know that this is like 600, so it might maybe take another year or two for the standard models to get up to 700, if we're now on the cusp of 600 for this device, by maybe the OnePlus 8T, if we go now in $50 increments. The OnePlus 8T could be $700. I'm just saying. We really don't know at this point. But like I said, I really like, hey, everybody's trying to make money out here. I get it, but it is just something to really take into consideration. Obviously, we know that there are 5G models that are coming out, and I'm imagining those are not going to be extraordinarily, budget friendly. I am personally going to imagine that there won't be any $400, $500 range on OnePlus 5G devices. That's just my personal guess. But like I said, this guy, we are going to take a deep dive. We're going to review. We have the OnePlus 7 Pro, which we will compare. In the meanwhile, I'd love to know your thoughts on the OnePlus 7T. Who plans on buying it? I do believe it is an exclusive on T-Mobile, and obviously there would be unlocked models as well. I'd love to know your thoughts and what you want to see like I said, I am definitely very interested in diving into this camera. I mean, I don't know exactly how they got this camera module to actually look pretty cool, but you know, they did a pretty decent job. The finish is also very nice, and like I said, this glacier blue is like I said, I've already made my comments about that. We'll just leave it at and I guess what I will say right now is, like I said, kind of a little bit unfortunate that this model is a flat display, so we don't really get any 3D action with the infinity display on this model. Obviously, we've got some pure Android. I do believe we're running 10. So for now, this is just the basics, just the hands-on. We've got no headphone jack. Dun, 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 dun. But like I said, we do have the last bit of the unboxing. Actually, hey, what else is in the other side? I think that's just swag on the other side. We do have the Bullets wireless, which I definitely will be. I will be breaking into these guys myself because I've got some wired headphones that are on their last leg. Like I said, outside of that, I think this is just swag. So, we got some case options as well. We used to having significantly more cases on these guys actually, but I always do the ones like these, but maybe we'll do a different one for this model. What do you guys think? Yeah, there we go. No, not that one. So I guess we'll do the red. We shall do the red. I think that's it. Yes, I think that's it. We'll do the red. Yeah, come on. There we go. Ooh, that feels nice. Yes. Ooh, that feels really nice. Okay. So yeah, me and the OnePlus 7T will take our leave, and please do let me know what you think. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and if you have any questions, let us know. Until next time, bye.
Yeah.